All right, so today's conversation is about the GPS Global Partners and some of the things that we have that are different than any other group I'm aware of. Plus, we're also going to talk a little bit about some of the power benefits with eXp Realty. What I'm trying to do, and the mission that I want today, that I'm trying to accomplish, is I want to give you the psychological energy to realize that this is a great place to be a successful real estate agent. Now, let's call out the elephant in the room. Virtual is challenging sometimes. And of course, offices are great and getting together is great and meeting up with each other. It's actually my favorite thing to do because I'm a very social person. And I identify that. I do get a lot of great energy from everybody on the calls. I hope you guys get that as well. There's a mission to that. We'll cover it in just a second. But that's a struggle. However, real estate is not practiced in an office. It's practiced in a home. It's practiced when we're face to face. The reason I bring that up is that what is practiced in an office is training, is your ability to improve your real estate business and to have collaboration, perfect world, help you. Y'all are here because I think realistically, you probably find that there is great collaboration and quite honestly, great support. If you're committed to that passion, it's easy to help somebody else. And today's conversation is all about helping. I want to empower you with some tools to help people. And then I'm going to give you some strategies in which to have the conversations. And here's the funny part. It's very similar to database. It is not a sell. It is a question. It is, how are you? What's going on? And we're going to cover that in depth in just a little bit. But right now, let's talk about eXp as a whole. And then I'm going to jump into the GPS Global Partners. I can't emphasize how strongly I feel about attending these big events that eXp puts on. We have the shareholder event, and that's in Orlando, Florida. That one is I think it's in May, as well as the eXp convention, which is in Las Vegas. That's just a lot of fun too. There is so much good information. So last event I went to was eXp convention. And here's what I found, and this is something that you cannot take out of my belief system at this point. I found that eXp is interested as me as a real estate agent. Now, that is pretty generic when you think about it. Here's some statistics. 2.5 years is the average life expectancy for an agent to stay with a real estate brokerage. Almost every real estate brokerage is like, get everything you can from the agent, because the truth is, we, as all of us, we're the agents, we're the only ones really doing the work. Think about it. The brokers aren't doing the work. The admin isn't doing the work. We're the ones that are out every day hitting the grind in this market, doing the extra work we have to do. We are the engines. Ultimately, in my very, very selfish opinion, you all are the only thing that matters in a real estate brokerage, myself included. We are the only thing that is really relevant. What I believe, though, and I've come from another brokerage, it's largest brokerage, it's still the largest brokerage in the world for a little while, and we were numbers. Doesn't mean I don't love it. It's the only other company I'd ever consider working for, but we were numbers. We knew, we talked about it. 2.5 years, nickel and dime them, get what you can, because they're not going to be here. We know that. Well, something changed in my mind when I was out in Las Vegas, and I said, I'm going to plug into every class, every main event. I want to be as engaged as I possibly can. And I walked out of there thinking to myself, this company actually gives a damn about me, my personal health, my psychological health. It focuses its energy on me as a human and not just a number. And I believe without reservation that their goal is not to get every penny they can out of an agent over the course of 2.5 years. The average life expectancy of an agent at a particular brokerage, that's just an actuarial statistic. But their goal is to help me have a career that is a long career, not nickel and diming, where their benefit is long-term, not short-term. Now, I know that's true. I believe that with every fiber in my body. So it's very easy for me to be passionate about this company. But I'm going to bring up some things just for you guys to have, and then we'll go quickly through this part, and then we're going to jump into the GPS Global Partners and some of the other benefits that are being offered out there. EXP is focused on our health. EXP has a gentleman named Leo Pajera, who is heading up the ancillary business section. And there's a division he's in. Everybody should get certified, please. It's if anybody knows what it's called, I'd love for you to shout it out. I am drawing a blank on it, unfortunately. More to follow on this. So there's a certification we all need, and here's why. Leo is a friend of mine. We got into REOs together 2008 or 9, and I've watched him grow. He created, literally designed Remine, which is in everybody's MLS. He's brilliant. He's now the president of this particular division of EXP, which falls under the Success umbrella. And he's having conversations with relocation big relocation companies. In my market, there's a Siemens, where we can actually go in and take that business away from Cartus, because Cartus is a money-making machine. We're interested in having the relocation business help our, what the heck? Hold on a second. Get rid of that. Sorry, my computer screen is looking all kinds of wonky. Anyway, we're actually looking to take away relocations and provide it back to our agents. I know he's having conversations with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac about being a nationwide platform for distribution of the assets when REOs do come around, if they do. He's having conversations with OpCity. And the reason he's having these conversations with OpCity is, wouldn't it be great if we, as EXP agents, were the one group nationwide that had a platform nationwide. Now, remember, because we're a nationwide platform, we're offered an opportunity to do something that nobody else can. OpCity is a distribution platform that's been hired by Realtor.com to distribute their assets for them. And OpCity, of course, makes money. We're not interested in making money in EXP. We're interested in our agents having more properties to list, more buyers to work with, more opportunities for them. And that's his number one role. Now, he's a very good friend of mine. I mean, like somebody I can call on the phone, have a conversation with. We've done this for years. I'm telling you what I know is true and what is currently in the works. And I've never seen him fail at anything. He keeps blowing my mind with what he's capable of doing. This is Leo Pajera. He's one of our presidents. He's amazing. The entire Success umbrella is focusing on coaching, on training, on personal health, on anything and everything that you as a person, as a human being, as a part of the group, meaning the overall group of EXP, we're not just satisfied with, is your real estate career great? Although that's primary, of course. But I believe very strongly that EXP is committed to you being in a great place as well. We've just redone our entire healthcare for real estate agents. Now I'm 56 years old, 56, Jesus Christ. All right, I'm 35 years old. I'm just going to stick with that one. All right. 35 with early male pattern baldness. That's me. And we have this healthcare program. They actually lowered their rates. Who does that? Well, they lowered the rates because it didn't make sense for them to have them higher. They lowered, it's normally $2,500 or $1,000 or $5,000. You get to choose, and you have this blows me away. For 3 incidents, if you have 3 events, you pay a maximum of $2,500 for each one of those 3 events, and you're 100% covered for everything else afterwards. That's the health plan they had, but it wasn't good enough. So they dropped it down to, you only pay $2,500 one time. That's your catastrophic deductible. Folks, I don't know of another company out there who's decided this is an important process and has continued to hone this, because you matter. Now, that may not be relevant to you, but take the philosophy that they're adopting, saying it is important to a lot of us, so we're going to do the right thing. And they're not trying to make a profit off of this. Of course, they're going to make some money, the company, Clearwater, but it's about making sure our agent partners are covered. This is just a small part of the philosophy of this brokerage. It's not just, hey, sell a home. Let's go. You can do it. All right, that's it. Great. Do another one. It's, how are you? Are you good? What can we continue to work on to get more and more for you? If you start to dig in a bit, maybe listen to the Friday announcements. They have a Friday kind of State of the Union at 11 o'clock. You can grab it and pick it up on your phone. It's obviously in the world. It's on my calendar. I want to know what the updates are, because I'm very passionate about what this is doing for you guys, myself included, for our partners, and for the people I genuinely care about. It is going to energize you if you take the moment and say, I want to know what's happening with this company, because this company gives a damn about you. And I've never been able to fully, completely say that about any other brokerage that I've heard of or quite honestly worked with. I've only worked with 3, so I'm not as worldly as many. And one of them I worked at KW for 12 years. I've been with EXP for over 5 years, and it's the right choice. My wife, God bless her, just to give you a heads up, she was like, I'm not going to EXP, no chance, no way. I laid it out for her, and she finally said, I'm going to go. But if it, I can't believe she said this because she never ever talks like this. She goes, but if it sucks, I am leaving in 1 month. She put her finger in my face like that. And so 1 month, I'm leaving. Now, if you ask her today, she goes, it was the best move she's ever made in her entire life, simply because she focuses her energy on real estate transactions, and she likes the simplicity at which we have. And yes, it takes a little bit, but once you get comfortable with it, it's very easy to do this. EXP as a whole, if you believe that this is a company that really cares about you, it's easy to see how this company can care about a friend of yours or somebody you know. Let's talk about the GPS Global Partners for a minute, and I'm going to get into some tools that'll probably help you. I've already dropped this in the chat. This is and I bring this one all the time. It's the master syllabus for attraction. There's a lot in here, and we'll unpack it so that you know where it is if you're able to download it. Tiffany, can we put this on the daily downloads? Thank you very much. On the very first page of gpsglobalpartners.com, in the bottom left-hand corner is daily downloads. If you're driving and you're unable to get this, please don't worry about it. We're going to drop it in the daily downloads, so it'll be there for probably the next 2 days, unless we put something else in there tomorrow. All right. And Tiffany, you can also, if we would, in Workplace, let's just drop it in there too, so they can get it in Workplace, because this is live streamed to Workplace too. Let's talk about the GPS Global Partners. Do y'all know that we have coaching every single week? We have coaching on Fridays. It's literally coaching from real estate coaches that cost anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a month. That's the fee that it would cost, and they're pouring out. We had an hour-and-a-half conversation yesterday, and they were saying specifically, how can we do this better? How can we give more to our partners? How can we help them succeed in real estate? And obviously, their skill set is coaching, and they're amazingly good at it, and they're not satisfied that it's enough. If y'all haven't seen it on Wednesdays, I'm thrilled about this. On Wednesdays, Fred has initiated such an amazing, this is Fred DeFalco, our godfather. That's his name. I just love that. It makes sense. He's initiated such an initiative. Wow, there you go. Double entendre. With his interviews of highly successful agents that are laying out what they do and how they built their success. Now, these aren't superhuman people, but these are people that are there. Now, remember, and I'm going to go back to EXP. EXP has iConversations. They're available all the time. Folks, these are the absolute best of the best, and these folks are doing an amazing job in building a real estate career, and they're putting everything out there for you to see. I'm a believer. I'm a fan of mirroring, matching, R&D, rip off and duplicate. If something's great, I want to put it into action. Now, remember, stay in your lane. You heard me say that. Stay in your lane. I think there's 2 lead generation sources you should be focusing on almost exclusively. If you find something that'll supplement that, add it, make it better. But that's Wednesdays. We have that. On Mondays, we do open houses, because an open house is an easy segue into creating a real estate business. In my opinion, it's probably one of the best things you can do for right now business. Does it happen every time? Absolutely not. But mathematically, if you do 20 open houses, you're assured 20 weekends of open houses, you're assured pretty darn close to 20 closings. But here's a little secret. We don't want you just to stick a sign in the yard. In fact, if you join these Monday morning calls, these masterminds on open houses, everything you need except for the printer to print it up and put it on a board is at your fingertips. Everything that you need is already packaged for you. On Tuesdays, I do some form of topical, or somebody does. I love it when it's actually run by somebody else, because the truth of the matter is, you guys are better at this than I am. I just have more practice talking about it. Your skill set, your collaboration, your partnership and synergy, GPS, growth, partnership, and synergy, is what makes this so incredibly unique. You really matter. So on Tuesdays, we do calls that are very, very specific. I try and hone in on things that are actionable, that'll help you with your business. And on Thursdays, we're going back and forth. Here are some changes coming for you. On Thursdays, we're going to start keying in on emerging agents. Now, it's not this time. We're going to move the attraction call to a later in the day call so we can incorporate that across the board. And it is going to be a very, very aggressive phone call, meaning not aggressive to you, meaning aggressive. Our goal is to give you tools, strategies, and tips at which to go about doing so. In fact, there'll be some live role playing. There'll be some live calling being done. Tom was going to be, I know what he's going to do. I'm not going to steal his thunder. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be amazing. We have a mastermind every single day of the week. We try and put them out for you so that you have knowledge of what's going on the day before in the form of a text saying, hey, tomorrow. We also put it in the GPS Global Partners, our social media Facebook group. Tiffany, if you wouldn't mind, if you get an opportunity, would you drop that in for us when you get a chance? It's a public group. It's GPS Global Partners, and it's just for us and for anybody else that wants to jump on, because Agents Helping Agents is not exclusive to this particular brokerage. It's exclusive to real estate agents who want to partner and succeed. You have at your fingertips 250 plus coaching calls every single year. Let that sink in. 250 plus coaching calls every single year. They're at your disposal. They're for you, and they're free, because we don't want money. We want you successful. In fact, I want to invite your friend that you know to join us on a call that's relevant to them. So I alluded to the fact that we send this out in a text message in the afternoon. It's got a lot more body to it, and we put it in our GPS Global Partners Facebook page, because we want you to have the ability to share and invite. Now, I'll give you a heads up. We don't EXP all over people on these calls. In fact, that's not the purpose. You'll barely ever hear us bring up EXP. We bring up the training because that's what really matters. The nuggets, the success, the ability to do so, the collaboration. And we're all in different parts of the country. We're in different parts of the states that we're in. Create something social. We have in the area that I'm in, we have a social group, we have a training group, and we try and do something social once a month and something training once a month. Now, these 3 or 4 ladies and gentlemen that have put these together are freaking awesome. But that's also in your wheelhouse. And if you're not doing something in your particular area, get with a couple partners and set it up, even if it's morning coffee. Jonathan, are you on the call, brother? Can I have you hop in if you get a second? Jonathan's doing something that it blows me away. I would love to hear this if he's able to swing in. I know he's usually. Oh, you're here. Thanks, brother, man. Tell us about the morning coffee.
Well, Coffee and Conversation, the first one we're doing this year is on the 12th. It's Thursday. What we're doing is we're finding local spots around different towns to do it every other week, and we're buying coffee for whoever comes in. That's it.
Who's we, Jonathan?
Myself, GPS Title Solutions, okay. And my lender, depending upon where the location is, it would be a local lender.
Outstanding. So it doesn't cost you anything, and you get to talk to people. Now, Jonathan, we talked about
George, I'm not spending a dime. I'm even getting my own coffee for free. So I'm just organizing this. That's all I'm doing. What's
the benefit for doing that, Jonathan? What makes you say so committed to this? Because I love it.
Well, first, I love coffee. I certainly, I believe that, it's as you drink yours, it's the gateway drug to conversation. So I certainly believe that by bringing people in and just being available to talk to them, and not even about real estate, just in general. Hey, how you doing? I hope you have an awesome day. Coffee's on us. Immediately, they're going to be like, oh, the nicest thing happened to me this morning. I got a cup of coffee from this real estate agent who was hosting this thing at my I got to go next time. I want to see what that's all about. I'm just looking for the conversation. I'm just looking to touch people and genuinely, so that their day feels better. Because of that, that's going to gain me more business.
I absolutely love what you're doing. I think that's amazing, and I'm so impressed. I had to call you out, Jonathan. I'm going to switch over. Heather, if that is Heather from Minneapolis, where it's really cold, unmute yourself, my friend. If that is you, in fact, I've got a question for you, and she's going to join us now. Heather is a friend of mine. Heather and her husband George are in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I don't know why. We're still trying to get them to come to Florida. Everybody should come to Florida. If you're not here, just come on. We want you here. Heather has had relationships built through social media. Heather, can you kind of explain a little bit about some of your the friends you've made and how that's happened through some of the social media stuff we've spoken of?
Sure. Well, basically, it's a long game, but when I first joined EXP a couple of years ago, I was focused on only my business. I wanted to get more deals, and then I realized, wait, I can do both. So I started to on social media, mostly Facebook. I would just join a bunch of real estate groups and just talk to people and just build relationships and ask them how they are and ask about their family. And if I saw something that they posted, comment on it. And I didn't, like you say, EXP all over them, but we just talked about them. And then, one lady in particular, I had said, give me a call, and I put my phone number down, and she called because she said, nobody else actually wanted to talk to me. Everybody just wanted to send me videos about EXP, and I wanted to actually talk to somebody. And so that's it. I just talk to people and ask about themselves. And, it doesn't happen overnight, but it's also fun. I like to do it.
I think that's awesome. And it's about relationships. And that's actually exactly where I wanted to go. Heather, this was not scripted, by the way, with what Jonathan said, and then Heather as well. Heather, thank you for sharing that very, very much. I'm going to share my screen because, well, I'm going to finish up with GPS. We have so much to offer any agent that wants to succeed in real estate. We have partnership, we have collaboration, we have coaching on a regular basis. We have in our world, we have social events that are going on, training events. And we're not nickel and diming them. Everybody is happy where they're at until something causes them not to be. It is our responsibility to be their support mechanisms as just good people. However, in doing so, you're going to find that they're actually probably going to utilize you as a sounding board when they have some troubles, because this is about, first and foremost, friendship, support, the people we actually care about. I am somebody who loves helping other people. I hope you have that same passion, that same motivation, because that will help you greatly in building the revenue share. So here's the revenue share model, how it works. For every agent you attract, every time they sell a home, you get a small taste of EXP's commission. In fact, EXP splits their commission that they charge. We're on an 80-20 split until we cap, and then we're at 100% for the rest of the year. That division, that 20%, is split in half. So really, 50% of what EXP charges goes back to the agents, all of you and the agents that sponsor you, depending. Now, the first objective is, as you sponsor an agent, we want to help them. And we have what I know to be the absolute best onboarding period. But it does take a little bit of guidance from our partners. Okay, we do a lot. We've got a call every day at 10 o'clock where we're able to help somebody with the onboarding. We invite them in. We encourage them to come here. We've got great support with walking through the process so they're not barraged with emails. We do a better job of it than anybody I know. In fact, I'm having conversations with Jason Gessing to try and help EXP be better as a whole, because I do believe that this company, that a rising tide rises all ships, and that's everybody in it, and we can be better. But you have that as a tool. Totally lost my train of thought. Shocker. That's not bad. It only took me like 30 minutes to get sidetracked. I'm getting better at this again. This is awesome. All right. I want to go into some relationship building questions. I want to talk about the conversations that we probably should be having if we're able to. Heather, it's affinity. Thank you. I just looked at the comments. Affinity, affinity, affinity. Yes, that is what everybody needs to register for. Thank you for sharing that, Heather. This file that you have, it's Attraction Master Syllabus. It's in the chat. It will be dropped again in the bottom for everybody. And as I said, it's somewhere else. Here's some questions just to have when you're having a conversation. Somebody have something to say? Oh, kind of share it. There. Can y'all see? Tiff, you need something? Somebody is unmuted. Tiffany, would you just double check it real quick?
Hear it, and yes, we can see.
Awesome. All right. So just relationship building questions. How long have you been in real estate? What do you think is going to happen in the coming year, or what's going on in the market? And there's actually a short version of all of this that's here as well. Where does most of your business come from? Is anyone coaching or supporting you? What do you think about Open Door OfferPad? It's not really relevant at this point. How did the last 6 months treat you? Have you ever thought of opening your own brokerage? What makes you successful? What do you do on a bad day? Okay. There's a lot more questions in here. Your authentic story is critical. You have to have, because at some point, folks, this is real important. At some point, somebody's going to say, because what we're going to do is we first ask them questions about them. That's just basic kind human decency. How are you doing? I actually have mine written down. Where does most of your business come from? Do you know who's helping and coaching you? What's the stone in your shoe? What's slowing you down from success? Usually they'll say leads. That's everybody. I want more leads. I get that. Or I'm building a team and I'm struggling with that. By the way, if somebody's building a team, we're going to have the ability to coach you on how to do that. We're actually going to have an entire curriculum on how to do that, on how to work for sale by owners, how to prospect well with what do I need? What does it look like? What are the scripts? How do we do it? Y'all answered a survey. Actually, I'm going to pull this up. If you have not taken this poll, please take a second and do it for me if you would. If you have, hold on a second, I got to find it. Okay, so if you've already done this, just close out of it. If you haven't, take a couple seconds, because this is where we get the information on what we're going to do. My mission, my goal this year is to have a literally, well, I have two goals. First goal, we're redoing the GPS Global Partners website. That first one, the one that we pull off, that we talk about all the time, I built that. Turns out I suck at it. Okay, I own it. That's not my sweet spot. We're having professional team rebuild that for us so that it's completely user-friendly, but also it will be, more than anything, a great resource at which to send somebody and say, hey, just take a look at what we have to offer. It's going to talk about what EXP, and particularly the GPS Global Partners, has to offer and present, what we do. It's not going to be join EXP because of this. It's going to be, this is what the GPS group, the GPS Global Partners does, and it's built for you. And I'm doing that because I truly believe that you need to have that resource available. Now, the back of the house, where we have all of our information, will be much easier to navigate. And in there, and this is where I'm referring to it, there will be curriculums on specific areas of lead generation, social media, YouTube. I mean, things that are relevant and important to you. Now, we'll train on those every week, of course, and mastermind on those every week. But I want to have a more in-depth syllabus for each one of these too. So that's coming in the very near future. Okay. Thank you for all of you who took a time to help out with that, with the survey. I really appreciate it. Get rid of it if you're done with it. If you've already done it, if you haven't, great. I'm going to go back to sharing this because this is what you're going to end up needing, in my opinion. Your authentic story is when somebody asks you about EXP after you've asked them a bunch of questions and talked about it. They're like, well, tell me about EXP. You can only tell them your authentic story. You know, if you tell them your authentic story, the next conversation is like, listen, you know what? What I would suggest, why don't we hop on the phone? Let me see. He's very busy, but let me see if I can get George or whoever is the right person on a quick call. They can explain it a lot better than I can. And finish with this. The worst thing that will happen is we're both going to learn something about real estate. So there's an added value for them doing so. You've got to start with your authentic story. You can see it. Good. Facebook friend request. This is actually, I have this saved in my phone. Anytime somebody requests me as a friend, I send it. This is what I text out or email out to somebody if they're interested in watching, where I say, I'm going to send you over a video. It gives you a really good 10,000 foot overview. I literally copy and paste this. It's stored in I have an iPhone, so it's stored in my notes section, and I copy and send it. Here's the objections. We have no office. That's okay. I do most of my work in the client's home. It's not sustainable. That one's actually pretty much dead at this point. It is completely sustainable. We've already proved it. Costs too much. No, it doesn't actually get paid for practicing real estate. There's a lot of things that they're going to say in here. I love this one. I'm not a recruiter. And their response is this, folks. If they say, I'm not into recruiting, neither am I. I only like to help friends. That's what I focus on, the people I care about. That's why I'm having a conversation with you. I think you're awesome. You can come up with a conversation. There's more objections that are in here put in for you as well. This is a pretty large kind of overview of what's going on. By the way, just a footnote, this is a great knowledge-based information on owning an independent brokerage compared to EXP, how it becomes easier. And there is a resource for every one of you if you're having a conversation with a small independent broker. Here's the secret on that. When you're talking to a small brokerage, if you happen to come across that, you don't know what pain they're going through, because none of us are brokers. If you are, you do. If you aren't, you won't. They're literally thinking, you don't have a clue what I have to go through on a daily basis. And they're actually accurate. We have a gentleman named Chuck Fazio. Chuck Fazio is our president of brokerage growth, and that has to do with independent brokers. He was the broker for the largest independent broker in the world that rolled into EXP around 3 years ago. He is 1000% skilled at having that conversation with an independent broker. And I asked him, I said, Chuck, what do we need to do? They have to have an idea of what EXP is about, and then simply try and set up a call with me. And through workplace chat, you can say, Chuck, my name is Susan, and I've got a great person that's an independent broker. They really need to have a conversation with somebody more knowledgeable than me. Can I set up a conversation? Can I set up a time for you guys to speak? He'll say yes, and he's very, very good at it. Okay, that's just, I had to throw that out there because it's important that you know this. All right, going on through, here's some attraction scripts. There's a lot of them in here. There's one that I like very much, and I know I'm going really quick on this one. This is the one that I'm most appealed with, and it's the power script. You can make this your own. This is what you don't want to change, is this part from right here on. This part, your greeting, of course, is up to you. Before I jump into the reason for the call, what do you think about this changing market? If you don't mind me asking, where does most of your business come from? The top 2 areas is what you're looking for. I always keep notes on that, folks, because if we're doing a class on, let's say, database, I'm going to invite the people that already said database. I work this, you should, I hope, work this just as if you'd work a client that is going to be selling their home in the future, where you want to keep in touch with them. That's the mission. And that's where the money is in all of real estate, including your real estate business, particularly your real estate business. It is in the follow-up. That's the really important part. Okay, who's coaching or helping you grow your business? What's the stone in your shoe? This is the one where they get to actually tell you what their challenge is. Okay, and then you jump into whatever the reason for the call is. There are a lot more scripts in here, a lot more information for you. It gives you a really good idea, but here in a nutshell is the summary. Whenever you meet somebody, ask them about their business. Ask them what they think of this wonky market. Ask them where their business comes from. Be interested in them and listen to what they say, and let them talk as long as they want. Ask them, in my world, I ask them, what's the stone in your shoe? What's holding you back from the success you know you can get to? And usually they'll tell you. Tony DeFalco said something that's inspiring to me. He said, you need to be their broker, which means their support person, before they need one. Because when they do, you're already that person. Said another way, just be their friend. And remember, all of you, this is mission critical. You can only talk about your authentic story and then absolutely introduce them to somebody else to do more conversations. I will bring in a little bit of scripture into this one. Jesus could not be the savior in Bethlehem. They knew him too well. Didn't work. He had to go elsewhere. And going elsewhere, he changed the world. Okay. You cannot be, I cannot, with the success I've had, which I'm grateful for, I cannot talk to somebody who knows me very well and be authentically motivating, because I just don't have that clout with people that know me. They already know I'm a goof, or a successful goof, but a goof nonetheless. But if somebody doesn't know me, you are having a conversation, I'm perhaps the exact right person for them. Here's a little background, or the way at which to go about this. If you're going to have a conversation, and I'm just going to call it Ali's name because I see Ali right in front of me on that one. And I'm talking to Ali, say, Ali, listen, here's my authentic story. Tell you my authentic story. I said, probably the best thing to do, why don't I see if I can schedule a call with Tom Martin? He's really busy and he's XYZ PDQ. Tom, has been a trainer for 20 years or for 8 years. He's a real estate coach. He's absolutely phenomenal. He can probably explain this and answer your questions a little better. Let me see if I can set up a call. The worst thing that's going to happen, we're going to, we'll both learn something about real estate. We'll set it up for about 10 minutes or so. Would that work? Everybody always says, yeah, that'd be fine. Because remember, they just asked you about EXP. Okay. When they ask you, you have permission to EXP on them a little bit, but only your authentic story, and then set up a call. And here's the important part. Text Tom or me or whoever it is. I would say, Tom, I've got a great person, Ali, that we need to have a next level conversation with them. Can I put you on a group text so that we can set up a time for them to work, or time for that phone call to happen? Tom will usually say, sure, no problem. So in that text message, here's what's going to happen. Tom, I want to introduce you to Ollie. Ollie is probably one of the smartest people I've ever seen. He's got a great real estate business. He was just starting out, or whatever the case may be. Please don't do this with a new agent, with Tom or with Ollie or with Fred DeFalco, or because, and I mean that because a new agent only needs training. That's the number one objective for a brand new licensed agent. They must get training, period. Because everybody is no good for the first year. And if you're a brand new agent on here, do not take that incorrectly. It just means you're working to proficiency. Everybody, myself included, I sucked the first year. There was so much I didn't know. Training for the first agent. But now, this is an experienced agent. Tom, I want to introduce you to Ollie. He's one of the most intelligent people I've ever seen in my entire life. He's got a great real estate business growing. He's in Chicago, and he's in the Volusia County area, and just brilliant. Owns a mortgage. Shameless plug, Motto Mortgage. Ollie's your guy. He's a mortgage broker, as well as one of our business partners and a practicing licensed real estate professional. First and foremost, he's my go-to along with our other lender. And because he's on all these calls, I get to shamelessly plug him. He will, I promise you, make sure nothing wrong happens. If you don't have a second lender, reach out to Ollie. If you need a first one, reach out to him as well. So in that conversation, that text message, I'm going to edify Ollie. I'm going to edify Tom. I said, we'd love to get a couple minutes of your time. Now, remember, Tom already knows that we're going to have this conversation because I've already got his permission. More likely than not, Tom's like, yeah, that'd be great. What's a good time for you? I get to watch Ollie and Tom go back and forth. They set up a time and we're all set to the races. Now, here's the important part. After that time set up, I'm going to reach back out to Ollie on that text thread, separate one, and say, listen, probably going to make the most sense for me to send you over kind of a 10,000, my words, not yours, a 10,000 foot overview of EXP. It'll stimulate some questions that are going to be important to you. If I sent that over to you, here's my first question. Do you think you'd have a chance to watch that before we hop on the phone call with Tom tomorrow at 2? Ollie's response would be, yeah, sure, that'd be great. So by 2 o'clock tomorrow, you would have absolutely had a chance to watch that video. Yeah, absolutely. I will watch it before we're done. Great. I'm good with that. I've gotten him to confirm it twice that he'll watch the video. And now it's my sincere hope he does because he needs that information. No, I don't want this to sound complicated. I asked Tom's permission. I edified, once he said yes, I edified Tom and Ollie. And then after we set up a time, I called up Ollie and said, hey, I think it's important for you to take a look at something. It'll give you some good, stimulate some good questions. That is normally the 9-minute video or Brent Gove's video, or any other thing that you want to send them, that a video about that explains EXP. And here's why. They have to have some foundational idea before that call. I would encourage you strongly to check with them. Hey, still good for an hour from now? Still good at, let's say it was at 2, it's 1 o'clock. Hey, Ollie, you still good for the call at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock? Yeah, great. Hey, have you had a chance to watch the video yet? No, I didn't get around to watching it. Oh, cool. Well, you got a couple minutes? Well, I need to see it as well for a change. Why don't we watch it together? I'll just make this a quick Zoom call. You want them to see it, because if they don't, they won't be able to move to the next level. That's been proven time and time again. It's also very challenging to have a conversation with somebody that doesn't have some foundation. Now, that doesn't mean that Tom shouldn't have that conversation, because he's going to ask them about them. Where's your business come from? What's going on? How can we coach you? How can we help you? All right. I've done a whole lot of talking. Attraction calls are going to be moved in the coming weeks to a midday phone call, and it'll be scheduled out so everybody will have access to it. And that's done intentionally because we feel that it is so incredibly important to have a new emerging agent class once a week. And we are going to make that transition because we're committed to making sure that our new agent partners that are growing their real estate business have the support and success and that they need for proper success. There was a whole lot that I covered, and do me a favor, Tiffany, can you redrop that syllabus? Are you able to do that? Actually, I can do it. We'll drop it in there. I think that, who do we have? Somebody had asked about that. Not sure you got it there. It's in there for you. So you should have it. Thank you very much.
It's also on the daily downloads and in Workplace now.
Daily downloads and in Workplace. So you can go to the Workplace chat group and it's on there. Here's the thing. I want you guys to think about this as a business, long-term business strategy. If you attract, however you get there, through yourself or through the people that have helped you grow, meaning, let's say, and I'm going to use Tony Fuentes as an example, or Keith Landry, it doesn't matter. It can use anybody on here. So I've attracted Tony. That's not the case. He was actually attracted by Yogi, but he's still a partner of ours. And I attracted Tony. Tony is on my first line. Okay. So every time Tony sells a home, I get a small taste of what EXP keeps. Not what Tony makes. This is EXP's money. 50% of that goes to revenue share. I get a small taste of that every time he's not, until he's on 100%. And then I don't get anything till the next year. Now, if Tony attracts an agent as well, I would need to have 5 agents that I personally attracted that are in production for me to access the agents that they attract and get the financial benefit. In a very simple way of saying this, let's say Tony attracts 2 agents and I attract 3. So I have a total of 3 agents I've attracted. Tony's 1 and Tony's attracted 2, which is 5. And the other 2 agents have attracted 2 each, which is a total of 9. So I have a total of 9 agents that are in my downline. And I remember that number. Heather, jump in if you've got something you want to add, because I'm going to go into the numbers and I want everybody to grasp this. This is what revenue share looks like. Go ahead, Heather.
Well, I just had kind of a comment or question. I was on the Sean Kokoska attraction training yesterday.
Mhm.
He has Wednesday, and there was a guy on the call and I was speaking with him, and he does something and I thought it was really interesting and I kind of wanted to get people's opinions on it, I guess. He calls it the 15, 2, and 1. And when he's talking to agents about coming over, he tells them that, you know, he's going to focus on his top 15 and then he's going to help each of those 15 get 2, because he uses that as a motivation, I guess. So when they say to him, well, I'm not a recruiter, he says, that's okay, I am. I'll help you get them. And then he said it really helps with agent retention as well, because people don't want to leave free money, you know, once you get it rolling in for them. And I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts or other people's thoughts on that.
I 1000% agree with that. And it's something that, I mean, we're here to help you guys grow this, because ultimately the truth is we benefit from it. And this is important. This is helpful for everybody. I want you all to have a sense of freedom where some of your bills are paid for. And this, Heather, thank you for bringing that up. The answer is yes, we're absolutely here to help. But I want to go through how the numbers work and how this can work. And this is not short term. This isn't instant gratification. This is time on task over time. It is a long-term business plan. You are building a business that you don't have to pay for, but you can receive the benefits of. Now, remember, EXP as a whole is, in my opinion, it has the best training, the best tools, the best leadership, the best support, a hell of a cost structure that's really good. Are we the cheapest? Absolutely not, but we offer so much more for it. I'm willing to invest in my business a maximum of $16,000 a year because I get that in return. I don't want cheap, I want growth. And you got to ask yourself, do you want cheap? If you want cheap, that's great. But I promise you, 95% of $100 is a hell of a lot less than 80% of $50,000. It's all about what you want. And I need to be aligned with a great partnership, with a great group, with a great company that allows me to reach my goals. So let's talk about what this revenue share looks like. Remember that conversation I was having about Tony? Tony attracts 2. I attract 2 other agents. They attract 2 each. I've got a total of, let's see, 9 people. And I attract 1 more agent comes in. They sell their first home. Great. I've got 10 people. If we're going to pretend that today, January 1st, is when I have 10 people in my group, here's the math. If your revenue share group grows by 5% per month, very, very doable. And for the next month, you attract 1 agent in January. Now we're just going to go through 2023. And for every month you attract 1 more agent, you really put your shoulder in, you're like, I'm going to do this. And you make this a part of your business plan. And so what happens is we've got now this month, we've got 10 plus 1, and we grow 5%, which is impossible to do. So we have what, 11 3/4 of a person, but you get it. Over the course of the year, it's going to average out. Now, this first year, we're going to attract 1 agent per month. We already have our 10, and we're going to grow at 5%. This next year, year 2, 2024, we're not going to add 1 more agent ourselves, but it's still going to grow at 5%. In 2025, same thing. So we put 1 year effort into it. That comes out to over $200,000 on average per month, excuse me, over 200 agents that you would have in your revenue share group. And I am here to tell you that if the average agent, let me do some real quick numbers. At a minimum, that's $100,000 a year at the end of 2025. If you have 200 agents in your group. The average agent for EXP, just using a very, very conservative number, is let's say it's worth $500 on average. And that's because some are going to be less, some are going to be more. It doesn't matter. But that's a number that is absolutely accepted across the board. And you've got now a total of 15 agents that you personally sponsored. So you opened up the first 4 levels. And you did that just by attracting 1 agent a month for a year. 2 more years after that, it's worth $100,000. Now, y'all think about that. The structure's already set for you. We already have the GPS Global Partners. You can plug in an agent right now, and they will have more at their fingertips than they have anywhere else. What they don't have currently is your undivided passion for their success. And that's where the friendship comes in. And that's truthfully the best part of this. It's not attraction, it's support. So don't think you're out there recruiting, because you're not. You're out there supporting. You happen to have decidedly a better mousetrap. Holly, if you don't mind, I'd love to call on you for a second. You've been exposed to a lot of real estate brokerages and a lot of, well, the world, quite honestly. We covered, what the GPS has that's a little bit different than everything else. Am I fair in saying that this is a pretty unique thing that is not readily available in the world?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I haven't looked at all the groups in EXP, but I don't really know of any other group that does a daily call in the morning that's really open to anyone, as well as the resources that you've put together available. And, if you complement that with what's available in the EXP world, because I've just scratched the surface in the EXP world. I took the EXP World Tour right before Christmas, actually, the Friday before Christmas. And man, there's so much stuff in there that I haven't even looked at or know about.
Yeah.
So I'd encourage everybody to take a look at that tour.
It's crazy. And they keep adding more levels and layers to it with the singular focus that it's all about us and our success, which is pretty awe-inspiring. I mean, you were at EXPCon and sat in with all of that. Did you walk away going, I had no idea they gave a damn as much as they did? Or was it just me?
Yeah, and the biggest thing I came away with EXPCon was how much the leadership is asking the agents for input, because we're all owners if you're participating there. I never got that at my previous brokerage. And secondly, the amount of them just listening, just even with the new updates in the independent contractor agreement, that they're not going to allow structure for wholesaling to happen.
Yep.
Those things are all just them listening and responding to agents. And I think as EXP continues to grow, the key for us being different than most agents, not just a production, but also we're owners. Big difference that, most other brokerages or most other agents don't have, is they don't have ownership. And that makes a huge difference, because it is completely voluntary to become an owner now, but I never had ownership in the previous company I was at for 7 years.
Well, not necessarily voluntary, because as soon as you sell your first home every year, you're getting stock. You don't have a choice. They're giving it to you. It's yours. You earned it. So it's coming. I want to address something, and I potentially said I wasn't going to bring it up at the beginning of a call, but it's worth bringing up. There's a lot of conversation going on. It was put out a couple of weeks ago or a week ago about EXP changing their independent contractor agreement. And it's like, well, there's this non-compete. Legal terms. Non-compete's a legal term. That means you can't compete in that arena. That's not the case at all. It's a non-solicitation, which is absolutely in place. And the non-solicitation is to protect all of us as real estate professionals within the EXP. Somebody can't leave EXP and then solicit every agent because there's a non-solicitation clause in our independent contractor agreement. Not to stop them, because truthfully, we are less than 1/10 of the entire real estate population is with EXP. Currently, I hope it's more. It will be, but it's even less than that. It's actually, realistically, I say we're less than whatever the number is, 1/30th. It's a very small amount of the entire real estate population is with EXP. If you leave EXP, you do not have permission to solicit everybody's phone number, which you readily have available, and try and solicit them to leave with you. You don't have permission to bother the agents that way. You can call every other of the 1.3 million agents out there and have a field day doing exactly that, growing a real estate company. A non-solicitation is substantially different than a non-compete. Now, Glenn Sanford identified this, and there was this big hubbub about, well, you can't bring your team with you. Bullshit. Sanford, our CEO, said clearly, if you bring a team to EXP and you decide that it's not the right fit, please take your team with you. You have every right to do so. They're your team. You built them. You're the leader. So if you hear that, it has been debunked. It is not true. It is a mainstream media. Let's just showcase a little bit of the news, not the real whole story.
Yeah, and George, just my thoughts on a couple of things on that. I mean, the every company has that non-solicitation, but here's my goal on there. If you don't plan on leaving EXP, it doesn't affect you. Number one.
Yep.
Number two, it's kind of like just because you change gyms doesn't make you actually in shape. Like you have to do the work. So if you were not attracting agents at EXP, going to a different brokerage, you're not going to attract them again either. And because that's really, you're focused on being a person of influence and also being able to help others around to show them this model. And really, there's no one else that has quite this exact model. There's a lot of copycats, which is fine. That's flattering, but there isn't those that have actually done it to this extent.
And they don't have, I mean, and I mean this with complete candidness, they don't have us. They don't have y'all. They don't have our leadership. They don't have the best of the industry here saying this is where. Now, remember, as you become more successful in real estate, Tony Fuentes, I got to call you out on this one. How much money do you actually pay at the end of the year? How much money did you have to pay EXP to practice real estate, or did you actually make more than 100% commission?
I made more than 100% commission.
Okay. So now Tony's a very successful real estate agent. Him and his wife have worked very, very hard for the success that they have. And I love it. And here's the thing. It doesn't cost him a damn thing. This is actually the least expensive real estate brokerage he could possibly work at because there's no cost. I mean, zero cost for his sales. He makes more than the cost of the sales.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? Very easy. The company gives back.
Oh, yeah.
It works. This is an unfathomable, Ali, we should have thought of this years and years ago ourselves, because this is just absolutely the most brilliant model that allows us to be participants, owners, and involved and be rewarded for that. And now everybody is excited about helping it grow because we benefit.
Yeah, and even if you look at places like mortgage, and before I forget, I also want to give a shout out to Crystal too. Crystal's part of Tony's success.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not forget about that.
Absolutely. And Elsa, his wife.
You can see, yeah, Elsa, Krista, and one of the things that you see is that other companies like brokerages in the mortgage industry are trying to copy the same similar plan of trying to do revenue share and do somewhat of an ownership structure. I know there's a little bit more legality in the mortgage side, but they're really copying what EXP has done with ownership. And I see that as something that a lot of the brokerages will do, especially with all the market changes happening in 2023.
We have a company here in our area. It's called La Rosa Realty. And it's actually kind of a funny story. It sounds on blush. It sounds as if it's more of a Latino-owned real estate company. Frank LaRosa, he's Italian, which is kind of funny. Anyway, it's kind of a sidebar in there. They just announced that they're now going to they're rolling out revenue share in that brokerage, which is awesome. I don't have the full breakdowns on it. I love that they're doing it. It just validates what we're currently involved with. But here's the Achilles heel in that. They don't have the training. They don't have the growth. They don't have the relocation. They don't have the marketing. They don't have the leadership that we have. Doesn't mean they're a bad company. They're not. They're great. But they don't have the commitment and the support to be able to offer each one of us what we all have as just something that's here. And I want you all, if it were to me and I could force an issue, I would want you guys to be as excited as possible about where you're at, because your growth in a challenging market is going to come by surrounding yourselves with people that are out there right now wanting to share with you and growing and doing the hard work, because this is going to be a challenging year for every one of us, myself included. We're going to have to lean into it a little more. You have more support, more partnership, more tools than anybody else I know. Partly with the GPS, but also with EXP as a whole. And I wanted to say a resounding thank you for being on the call, for being a partner, and for contributing. All of you. God bless you. Have the most amazing 2023. And my personal commitment is to continue to pour in and add to whatever I possibly can and make it better. And we are having a conversation right now, Tiffany and I, about the GPS Summit. More to come on that later. We're working on it. So that's it for me, because it's 9:30 and I have some work to do, and that's what I do. God bless you. Any questions? Anything we need to cover real quick before I hop off?
George, do you have the time and date for that attraction call we were planning on doing or not yet?
No, we don't. It's going to be, we're going to start it, I believe, right after we go to the event I just reposted, which is the Agent Success Mastery. If y'all haven't gone to this or you're thinking of going to this, please just make the commitment. It's $345, I think. It's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The hotels are $150 to $200, and you need one on Tuesday night or Monday night and Tuesday night. It starts Monday morning and then goes till Wednesday afternoon, and then everybody's headed home. This is going to be amazing. Day one is about buyer sides, conversions, mindset. Day two, listings. Day three, social media, more conversion. It's just, the itinerary is in there. It's just crazy. And these guys are the real deal. This is not an EXP sponsored event. This is an event by Dan Beer and John Cheplek and Bill Pipes. Probably some of the best real estate coaches in the world. I had a chance to sit with them and I was blown away. So much so that I haven't shut up about this. And I want you to come and join us there. I want you to invest in yourself. You will take away from it great things. It is not being live streamed. You got to come and be in person on this one. As far as I know, they may change that, but I don't know. I'm tickled pink to do this. If you're not going, Keith Landry, are you going down? Shame on you, Keith. You obviously don't want to grow your business.
I'm going to be in Colorado,
Well, okay, you get a free pass.
taking the family to see snow for the first time. So
Okay, that would work. I'm not going to throw anybody else under the bus. I'm comfortable throwing Keith under the bus, but I won't do that to anybody else. We want you to be there, Alethea. I will throw you under the bus. Get your ass over there. And that's all
trying.
Just make the commitment. Just do it. I did throw. Holly, I'm planning on going to Tom Ferry and Paul. Oh, that's very cool too. Tom Ferry is awesome. I get that. That makes sense. There's a lot of great stuff going on. Just get immersed in training. That's more than anything. Just jump into training as best you can. That's critical. All right. God bless y'all. Go out there and tell somebody you love them. Tell them that they matter. You'll make a difference in their lives. You may actually save a life by doing so. More importantly than anything, though, it's going to make them feel better. It's going to make you feel better. It's a great way to start the day. In fact, that's the key to database. That's also the key to attraction when you're growing revenue share. Now, think about this, all of you that are still listening. Imagine 3 years from now when you're making $100,000 before you sell your first home. And it starts by getting a little group of 10 people together, which does take a little bit of effort, and then just bringing one person on for 12 months and then put it aside and let it grow. That is what happens. And those numbers were conservative. I'm here to tell you firsthand. Have an amazing day. God bless you guys. Tiffany?